In a world that constantly demands action, progress, and hustle, we are often taught that success, happiness, and manifestation are all about doing about effort, persistence, and pushing hard to get what we want. But what if everything you've been told about manifestation is completely backwards? What if the constant chase for your desires is actually the reason they remain out of reach in the world of quantum manifestation? This common mindset doesn't just fail, it actively repels the reality you're trying to create. The truth is, quantum reality isn't linear. It doesn't respond to urgency or force. Instead, it responds to coherence. Coherence is the alignment between your internal state and the reality you wish to experience. Most people try to manifest abundance, success, love, or freedom, but they are doing so while carrying the energy of scarcity, fear, and doubt. They affirm love while radiating loneliness, visualize wealth while feeling anxiety, and desire success while embodying self-doubt. This energetic contradiction is exactly what the quantum field responds to. Not the words, not the vision boards, not the rituals. Manifestation doesn't happen because you ask for it. It happens because you become the version of yourself who already lives in that reality. In quantum terms, the field is a matrix of infinite potential, not moved by effort, but by resonance. That means your task is not to push harder, but to attune yourself to the frequency of what you desire. To stop chasing and start embodying the version of yourself that already has it. This is where most people get stuck. They hear phrases like feel as if it's already done, or be in the vibration of having, but it feels like a faraway concept, something unreachable or fake. That's because they haven't yet understood the paradox. The state of allowing is the state that attracts. The observer effect in quantum mechanics tells us that observation alters reality. But it only happens when observation is infused with expectancy, not desperation. When you look at reality through the lens of trust, faith, and knowing, the wave of infinite possibilities collapses into form. But when you observe reality through fear and urgency, the wave remains uncollapsed. It stays as a mere possibility, never turning into the reality you seek. Let's pause here for a moment. This isn't about blaming yourself or others. It's about waking up to how your energy communicates with the universe. Imagine tuning a radio station. If you're trying to listen to 98.7 FM, but your dial is set to 88.1, no matter how badly you want to hear the music, you'll never hear it unless you adjust your frequency. Quantum manifestation works the same way. It's not about asking the universe to deliver something to you. Instead, it's about tuning into the frequency where that version of your life already exists. This is where ancient wisdom and modern science converge. Neville Goddard spoke often about living from the end, embodying the emotional signature of your desired outcome. Joe Dispenza discusses how the brain and heart must be coherent, sending a unified message to the quantum field of creation. Abraham Hicks refers to it as getting into the vortex, a state of alignment where resistance melts and receiving begins. Here's the problem many face: simplicity scares the ego. We've been conditioned to believe that value comes from effort, that transformation requires struggle, and that progress demands constant hustle. But in the quantum world, it's the opposite. The more you chase, the more you affirm the absence of what you desire. The more you try to force, the more you amplify resistance. This is why quantum manifestation is simple, but why so many people don't get it. Simplicity is not sexy, it's not dramatic, and it's certainly not marketable. But it's exactly where the shift begins. Let's go deeper. The version of your life that you desire already exists. In quantum theory, all possible outcomes coexist. Your job isn't to create something out of nothing. Your job is to collapse into the version of that reality that is already waiting for you. And you do that by aligning yourself, not by forcing or demanding, but by tuning your frequency to match that desired timeline. You need to attune yourself to that version of you who already lives in the reality you desire, not when the evidence shows up, but right now. If your external reality is a reflection of your internal state, Then what is your reality reflecting the truth? As many people approach manifestation with a to-do list, visualize, daily repeat, affirmations, write down your goals, and so on. While these practices can be helpful, they often remain surface-level attempts to change what's on the outside without addressing what's within. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to who you are being. Being is not performance. It's not about pretending to feel abundant while panicking about rent. It's not saying you trust the universe while secretly obsessing over timelines. Being is alignment, vibrational congruence between your inner world and the reality you wish to experience. Joe Dispenza describes it like this: your thoughts are electric and your emotions are magnetic. Together they create an electromagnetic signature that broadcasts your state of being into the quantum field. This electromagnetic signature is what the field responds to. Not what you want, but what you are. Let's break it down. Let's say you desire financial freedom. But if you're constantly feeling anxious, checking your bank account, and imagining worst-case scenarios, your electromagnetic signature is one of scarcity. Scarcity doesn't attract wealth. It magnetizes more scarcity. The quantum field isn't judging you. It's simply reflecting your broadcast. The most powerful way to change your signal is not by chasing a new future, but by embodying it. Feel it now. Practice the frequency of your desired reality until it feels natural. Not as a lie, but as a remembrance, because somewhere in the multiverse, that version of you already exists. And when you align emotionally and mentally with that version of you, you collapse that possibility into reality. This is not wishful thinking. This is the principle of neuroplasticity at work. When you imagine a future event and bring up the emotion of it, whether it's gratitude, joy, or peace, your brain begins to create neural circuits as if it's already happening. Do that long enough, and your body becomes familiar with the future before it even arrives. And when your body believes, the quantum field responds. Neville Goddard taught us decades ago when he said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He wasn't suggesting that you fake it. He meant you should fuse with it. Let the feeling of your desired reality become so real, so familiar, that your nervous system calibrates to it. Manifestation is not about asking the universe for a favor. It's about meeting the version of yourself who already lives that reality and bringing that version into the now. Not by force, but by resonance. And when that resonance becomes consistent, the quantum field mirrors it back as experience. There's a shift that happens when you stop waiting for signs and start becoming the sign. When you stop watching for synchronicities and start living in sync, that's when reality bends. That's when time collapses and things magically align, not because of luck, but because of coherence. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation collapses the wave function, turning a potential into reality. But not all observation is equal. Observation, charged with trust and emotional clarity, has more collapsing power than observation tainted by fear and doubt. Ask yourself, what version of reality are you consistently observing? When people say act, as if it's not about faking confidence or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about stepping into the emotional posture of someone who already knows someone, who's not waiting for proof, but embodying the evidence before it arrives. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages telling us to work harder, hustle more, and chase our dreams with unwavering determination. It's all about doing, pushing, and making things happen. But what if everything we've been taught about manifestation has been completely backwards? What if the very act of chasing what we want is the reason it stays just out of reach in the realm of quantum manifestation? This mindset doesn't just fail, it actively pushes your desires further away from you. Quantum reality operates differently from what we're used to. It doesn't respond to urgency, effort, or hustle. Instead, it responds to coherence. Coherence is the alignment between your internal state, your energy, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, and the reality you desire to experience. When you are not in alignment, when your internal state contradicts your desires, You create resistance that repels the manifestation. In other words, manifestation doesn't happen because you asked for it. It happens because you became it. The quantum field, a vast matrix of infinite potential, is not moved by how much effort you put in. It responds to resonance. That means your job isn't to push harder, but to attune yourself to the vibration of the version of your life that already exists. Instead of chasing, you begin to become. This shift is where most people get stuck. Many have heard phrases like feel, as if it's already done, or be in the vibration of having, but these concepts can feel far off, unrealistic, or unattainable. Why does it feel so challenging to make this shift? Because it requires a deep understanding of the paradox of allowing. The state of allowing is the state that attracts. It's not about waiting for the universe to deliver your desires, but aligning with the energy of those desires in the present moment. Quantum physics provides a beautiful metaphor to help explain this idea, the observer effect. In quantum mechanics, observation collapses a wave of infinite possibilities into a single reality. But it's not just about any observation, it's about observation that is infused with belief, trust, and embodiment. When you feel your future as if it is already real, your energy starts to imprint that version into the unified field. You don't chase it. Instead, you stabilize it. And in doing so, the universe mirrors back that reality. Joe Dispenza teaches us that the key to manifestation is coherence, a synchronization between the brain and the heart. Most people live in mental chaos with their thoughts wanting one thing, but their emotions communicating something completely different. Their actions are scattered and motivated by fear, doubt, or lack. When this happens, the quantum field cannot find a clear frequency to reflect. When your brain and heart enter coherence, your signal becomes stronger. You're no longer sending mixed messages to the universe. You're broadcasting a unified frequency of trust, gratitude, and certainty, the frequency of someone who already is what they once hoped to become. Let's look at this from a neurobiological perspective. When you experience an emotion, your body releases chemicals that correspond to that feeling. For example, gratitude produces dopamine and oxytocin, while trust produces serotonin. These chemicals do more than just make you feel good. They change your entire physiological state, and that state becomes your point of attraction. If you can generate these positive emotions without needing external validation, you reclaim your creative power. No longer are you reacting to life circumstances, you are actively informing them with your energy. This is how reality begins to shift. Neville Goddard, one of the pioneers of the law of attraction, used to say that your assumptions harden into facts. What he meant is that your consistent emotional assumptions, your beliefs about yourself, your world, and your future, create a gravitational pull that restructures your life. The outer world becomes a reflection of your inner world. This isn't just philosophy, it's physics grounded in what we now know about the observer effect, entanglement, and coherence. The observer effect teaches us that what you focus on expands, and more than that, it transforms. You're not just watching a future unfold, you are shaping it moment by moment with every thought, emotion, and choice. But how do you maintain this? How do you stay in the vibration of your desired reality long enough for it to collapse into form? This is where many people falter. They may briefly access the frequency in meditation or journaling, but then slip back into their old patterns of doubt, worry, and fear. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it's growing. Manifestation requires consistency, but not perfection. It's about returning again and again to the version of you who already has what you desire. Not just in thought, but in feeling. Not just in words, but in actions. Every small alignment compounds. Here's where it gets exciting. Once you stabilize your vibration, reality begins to respond in ways that feel almost magical. Synchronicities begin to unfold. Unexpected opportunities show up. You receive intuitive nudges and sudden clarity. People appear at just the right time. And it's not magic. You'll know you're close to collapsing the wave when you begin to feel it deep in your bones, not as excitement or impatience, but as certainty. There is a quiet knowing, a deep sense of inevitability. You stop asking where is it and start feeling it's already mine. At this stage, you've shifted from wishful thinking to energetic authorship. You've crossed the bridge between possibility and embodiment. And something begins to change, not only in your outer world, but in your perception of it. You stop needing validation from the outside because your frequency is its own evidence. You've collapsed the wave, and the life you once visualized is now visualizing you back. But let's be honest, this is where most people get stuck. Not because they don't believe, but because they don't know how to become the version of themselves who is already living the life they desire. They try to think their way into a new reality without truly feeling it. They hope for change while continuing to embody the same emotional patterns. The field doesn't respond to hope. It responds to energetic certainty. Quantum manifestation is not about thinking positively until something magically appears. It's about becoming a match to the timeline you're trying to access. That timeline, the version of you that already exists, isn't something you're creating from scratch. You are selecting it by aligning your energy with the frequency it broadcasts. How do you know you're aligning? You stop obsessing over how things are going to happen. You stop chasing validation signs or guarantees. You become less reactive to the outer world and more attuned to your inner calibration. As Abraham Hicks often says, you can't get there from there. In other words, you can't manifest the version of you who is free, at peace, and fulfilled while coming from a place of urgency, frustration, or lack. You have to start acting, feeling, and especially living as though you're already there. That's when something mysterious begins to happen. You start attracting different thoughts, not the ones you try to think, but the ones that belong to the version of you who already lives that reality. Your intuition sharpens. You sense new paths opening. The synchronicities become more pronounced. Time seems to bend in strange ways. It's as if life is accelerating to meet you. Joe Dispenza explains that when you enter a high-frequency emotional state, such as gratitude, love, or awe, your brain and heart enter gamma coherence. In this state, your nervous system becomes more receptive to new patterns. Your field becomes magnetic and manifestation becomes natural. Not because you're forcing it, but because you've become the portal through which that reality flows. And this is why we say, stop chasing. Start attracting. It's not about effort. It's about calibration. When you stabilize your frequency, align your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you become the gravitational pull for the reality you desire. Manifestation is not about hoping, wishing, or working harder. It's about aligning with the frequency of what you already are and allowing the universe to mirror that alignment back to you. You've likely had moments where everything just clicked into place. A situation unfolded perfectly without effort. An opportunity appeared right when you needed it, or you had an encounter where someone spoke exactly what was on your mind. These moments are when the quantum field responds to your alignment, and you experience what manifestation can truly feel like. Now imagine living in that state consistently by choice. That is the shift we're talking about here. Now let's speak directly to your subconscious. The fact that you're reading this right now is not a coincidence. It's a signal that you're ready to shift. Have you ever felt like your manifestations are taking too long to come to fruition? Maybe you felt like something's blocking them or that you're doing something wrong. Here's the truth: you've always been closer to your desires than you think. The very fact that you're hearing this message now is proof that your field is ready to shift. You are not broken. You are not behind. You don't need to chase anything anymore. What you need to do is stabilize the version of yourself who no longer chases, the version who walks with quiet certainty, grounded in magnetic energy. That version of you already exists, and every moment you choose to remember that version, you collapse the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. This is the moment to stop trying and start remembering. This is the moment to embody the version of you who lives as if your desires are already done. It's a quantum event, a shift from waiting to becoming. To anchor this shift, here's something powerful. If this message resonates with you, if you feel the stirring of something within you, aligning, comment 777 below. Why 777? Because in numerology and spiritual traditions, 777 is a powerful number representing divine alignment. It's not just a sign, but a vibrational code that symbolizes the unfolding of your path, as it should be. When you see 777, it reflects your internal reality aligning with your higher potential. It's a confirmation that your manifestation is already vibrating in your field. By typing 777, you're not just engaging, you're activating. You're claiming your coherence, becoming a node of resonance for what you're ready to receive. And when you do this, you amplify the frequency, not just for yourself, but for everyone who reads this, because the field responds to collective coherence. So go ahead, comment 777 below. Watch who else does. How your field changes after this. This is your signal to the universe: I no longer chase. I attract because I already am. The quantum field is always whispering to those willing to listen. There is nothing to wait for. Every version of your life, every timeline, every potential reality already exists. It's not something you create through force. It's something you tune into through alignment. The shift doesn't require years of effort or complex techniques. It begins the moment you stop searching for signs outside and start embodying the signal inside. Think about this for a moment. The reality where your manifestations are already real is not far off. It's vibrationally adjacent. You don't need to leap into it. You simply need to stop resonating with the one you want to leave behind. This is what Neville Goddard meant when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." It's not a game of wishful thinking. It's the science and sacredness of self-selection. You're not asking life to become something. You're telling life, this is who I am now. And the field, being fully obedient to coherence, responds accordingly. However, there's a catch. You can't fake it. You can't pretend to feel abundant while anchoring yourself in doubt. You can't chant affirmations from a place of fear. You can't meditate your way into a new life while mentally clinging to the old one. The quantum field is not fooled by surface rituals. It listens only to the vibration beneath your thoughts, and that's exactly where your true power lies. So how do you live from this power? You practice coherence. You choose again and again to return to alignment. Not once, not when it's convenient, but as a devotion, a lifestyle, a way of being. You speak differently, walk differently, and treat others and yourself as if you already are the person who has what you desire. And soon you won't be acting anymore. You'll simply be living it. This is the quantum code behind manifestation that few talk about. Not because it's hidden, but because it's so simple. Too simple for a mind addicted to complexity. Too soft for a world addicted to struggle. But that simplicity is your secret key. The more you release the need to make things happen, the more reality begins to shape itself around you. Trust this process. Stop waiting for evidence and become the evidence. The most powerful manifestations don't announce themselves with fireworks. They arrive in the quiet, ordinary moments felt deeply in your body. It might be a shift in breath, a sudden peace. The universe speaks quietly when it delivers what you've already claimed. So let me ask you this. What if the change you've been waiting for is actually waiting for you to stop waiting? What if your next timeline is already watching you, waiting for the signal that says, I'm ready? Let's collapse the distance. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below sharing your experience, intention, or simply your affirmation. Let this space be more than just a video. Let it be a frequency portal. Let your words here become anchors in the quantum field. And as you scroll through the comments, remember you are not alone. We are a field, a wave, a movement, and your coherence strengthens the whole. If this video activated something within you, consider subscribing, not just for content, but for connection. This channel is a sanctuary for those who know the universe is listening, for those ready to become what they've been calling in. You are not becoming powerful. You already are. You're not learning how to manifest. You're remembering how reality responds to you. The moment you stop chasing and start aligning, that's when manifestation becomes effortless. That's when it gets magical. This shift doesn't just happen on its own. You must remain consistent, stay aligned, and continue to choose the frequency of your desires. It may feel subtle, but every small act of alignment adds up to create profound transformation. Your role is not to force your reality into existence, but to let go and trust that the universe will mirror your energy back to you.